Just so you're aware, Port Arthur massacre was allegedly perpetrated by a guy called Bryant, who was mentally slow, and he killed numerous people at the cafe down there. That was the trigger by which John Howard then stripped the Australian people of their weapons. That's the popular story. Now, there are allegations, and I call them allegations because I don't have hard evidence. I have an opinion on it, but I don't have hard evidence, that it was a false flag operation. It was supported by other shooters in order to create this scenario for a weak-kneed Prime Minister to strip the people of their firearms. Now, for those of you who don't understand a gun culture, that's fine. You should look it up because Australia used to have a very intelligent, sensible gun culture. But Howard was directed to remove it, and he did. So he took the guns away. So the allegation is this was a false flag operation designed to get that effect. There is a lot of circumstantial evidence that I've examined which indicates there is a lot of, let's say, compelling evidence that it might be a false flag. The accuracy of the shots by an alleged mentally slow individual. The fact that shots were being heard while he was on the phone to other people. There's a lot there. Have a look at yourself, make up your own mind. What we do need to do, I can tell you this, is conduct again, another Royal Commission. My God, we're going to have some Royal Commissions into Port Arthur to determine the truth, because what is critical in a relationship between the government and the people is absolute transparency. So you need to demand and get the truth, because things like this have to be opened up. Yeah. There are too many cover stories, too many lies, and false flags are well known. The Gulf of Tonkin incident, which was the trigger for the Vietnam War, was a false flag. You can look it up online. It's been declassified. Yeah. It was a false flag. And false flag, just so you're aware, it's the origin of that term was, so for example, a British naval vessel could fly a false flag. So they're against the French. Let's say there's a war with the French, so they run a French flag. And so that allows the British vessel under a false flag to get close to the French vessel, but they may not engage in hostility under a false flag. So they have to quickly whip down the false flag, whip up the real flag, and then they can attack. So it's a ruse of war. And there's nothing wrong with ruses of war. But there's a big problem when it's used against the people of the nation by their government. See, this is the textbook definition of terror, politically motivated violence. And the Australian people have been victims of politically motivated violence initiated by their government for decades. Yeah. And there is strong circumstantial evidence that Port Arthur was one of those. Yeah. So it needs to be investigated, it needs to be looked at, and the truth revealed to the Australian people. And if there was a false flag, and if it was a lie, then everybody from the Prime Minister down should be held to account.